All right. If you've ever managed a project with a ton of moving parts, you know how incredibly easy it is to just get lost in all the details. So today, we're going to dive into 3 really powerful visual tools that are designed to cut right through that noise and show you, just at a glance, exactly where your project really stands. And that brings us to the big question, right? The one every single project manager has to ask. It's a tough one because a really busy team can look a lot like a really productive team, but just being busy doesn't always mean you're making progress. So how do you tell the difference? Well, the key is having the right lens to see everything clearly. So our first lens is all about the micro level, the day-to-day flow of all the work. We are talking about the Kanban board, a tool that's just designed to bring absolute clarity to what your team is doing. The name itself tells you pretty much everything. Kanban is Japanese for visual card. You've got kan, meaning visual, and ban, meaning card. It's that simple, that literal, and that's exactly where its power comes from. And this quote just nails it. This system was actually developed at Toyota way back in the 1940s, and it isn't just about making a to-do list look pretty. Nope, it's a signaling system. Each one of those cards is a visual cue that literally pulls work through the process at a nice, steady, sustainable pace. The whole system is built on 4 key principles. First, you have to visualize all the work. Second, and listen, this one is the real game changer. You limit the work in progress, or what we call WIP. Think of it like preventing a traffic jam on the highway. By limiting how many cars get on, you make sure everything keeps moving smoothly. And that focus on flow naturally leads you to the last principle, continuous improvement. And here we go. This is a perfect example of what it looks like in action. Just think of it like a visual pipeline for all of your team's work. You see the tasks, those are the cards, and they move from left to right through different stages, like plan, develop, test, and deploy. At a single glance, anyone can see what's being worked on, who has it, and most importantly, where things are getting stuck. So how do you start? Well, first, you map out your actual workflow, not some perfect idealized version. Then you start putting the work on the board and set those super important WIP limits. But the real magic happens in steps 4, 5, and 6. See, this isn't a one-time setup. It's a constant loop of working, seeing where things slow down, and then tweaking the system to make it better. Kanban is absolutely fantastic for managing the daily grind. But what about the bigger picture? To see that, we've got to zoom out a bit. And that brings us to our second tool, which we can think of as the meso level, the good old project calendar. Exactly. If Kanban gives you that super close-up view of the pipeline, how in the world do you see the entire roadmap from start to finish? You need a tool that shows you not just what's happening today, but what's coming up next month, and the month after that. And that is precisely what a project calendar is for. It's really the main way to get that high-level, bird's-eye view of your project's entire schedule, organizing everything on a clear timeline. A great calendar does so much more than just list dates. It takes a messy, complex bunch of tasks and turns it into a clear story that the whole team can follow. Suddenly, everyone knows not just what they're doing, but how their piece fits into the bigger puzzle. And that is absolutely crucial for hitting your due dates. I love this quote because it is just so true. It might seem basic, but a really well-kept project calendar is the absolute foundation of good project management. It's the source of truth for your timeline. Okay, so we've seen the daily workflow with Kanban and the overall timeline with a calendar. But what about the budget? How do you track cost and progress at the same time? For that, we need to zoom out one last time to the macro level with something called earned value analysis. Okay, I know this chart might look a little complicated at first glance, but trust me, the idea is actually really simple. Just think of it as a financial health report for your project. It's plotting 3 key things against time to show you all in one picture how your plan, your actual progress, and your spending are all related. To understand this whole thing, we just need to know 3 key terms. The first one is planned value, or PV. This is your blueprint. It's the line on the chart that basically says, okay, according to our plan, by this date, we should have done this much work and spent this much money. It's your perfect world scenario. Next up is earned value, or EV. So if planned value is the blueprint, earned value is the reality check. It's the true monetary value of the work you've actually completed. This line tells you, okay, based on our real progress, we have officially earned this much of the budget. And finally, we have actual cost, or AC. This one's the easiest of the 3. It's just the total amount of money you've actually spent so far. It's the bill. Simple as that. And here, this is where the magic happens. When you plot these 3 lines together on one chart, the gaps between them tell you the whole story. You see that gap between your earned value and your planned value? That's your schedule variance. It instantly shows if you're ahead or behind. And the gap between your earned value and your actual cost? That's your budget variance. It is a powerful, at-a-glance diagnostic tool. So we've covered 3 pretty different tools, and each one gives you a completely different view of your project. The question really isn't which one is best, but which one is right for the question you need to answer right now. And this table just sums it all up perfectly. You use a Kanban board for that micro view to manage the daily chaos and answer, what's next? You use a project calendar for the meso view to see the whole timeline and answer, are we on schedule? And you use an earned value chart for that big macro view to tie it all together and answer the big one. Are we on budget and on time? So I'll leave you with this question to think about for your own work. Which view do you need most right at this moment? Are you trying to optimize the daily flow with a pipeline, map out the future with a roadmap, or do you need a full diagnostic with a health report? Choosing the right lens can make all the difference in the world.